right, I am calling the Village Board of Trustees meeting of June 22nd, 2026 to order. Roll call, please.
Trustee Henry.
Here.
Trustee Brochus. Trustee Borcar. Trustee Borland.
Here.
Trustee Komikowski.
Here.
Trustee Calvater. Here. President Langfeld.
Here. We stand for a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Right, we're at public comment. This is an opportunity for anyone to address the village board on any issue. Please observe the time limit of 3 minutes. While the village board encourages input from residents, it may not discuss or act on any issue that is not duly noticed on the agenda. Do we have anybody? All right. Consent agenda. Upon request of any trustee, any item may be removed from the consent agenda for separate consideration under general business. Does anybody have anything? I am going to remove number 4, the B license, just because I think there's some things to discuss on that. At least we're all coming from the same page. And I have one question on number 3, which is the report, the sewer report. I think it's, what do we call it?
That's Seymour.
Yeah,
Yeah.
compliance annual maintenance report.
Yeah, maintenance. Matt, I'm looking at page 24 on this. And it,
I'll
well,
pull it up.
I'll let you, I'll tell you what I'm talking about. 3.3 talks about the replacement fund. And the wording here is if you had a loan, you know, they want, I can't tell. What my question is, we no longer have a loan under them, so we're not required to do it. So I just want to make sure, even though we put a number in here, this does not mean that this is a restricted form, a restricted fund, right?
I think it's just showing that we are planning. Yeah, it's not.
Okay, so that's good. And then if you go down to the next section, future planning, you have some numbers on estimated costs. I'm wondering where those are coming from. It's still on page 24,
24, thank you.
right there.
Yep, so the 22.5 and 2027 is what we kind of had on the CIP. That's gonna get pushed back probably another year when we talk about it. So that number was the minor repairs from Town and Country.
Okay,
So that's just gonna get.
so yeah, I'm kind of looking at 2024. Did we actually upgrade our phosphorus equipment?
I was not here.
Oh, okay, I won't hold you accountable. All right, then it had rehab in 2025, 200,000. See, I don't remember having any of
I don't
this.
know if this is mainly for engineering work. Brian, do you know?
I didn't see Brian back there.
Snuck in.
It just says I rehab work for the last couple of years. I study, I rehab work.
No, I would say yes on that chemical equipment upgrade, yeah.
Okay.
I guess, the I study, that was definitely done in 24. The rehab work, I don't know
Well, I know we're doing a study right now, so I'm
if,
guessing
yeah,
part of
Yeah.
2026 would be that.
yeah, but that would be more like lining sewers and stuff.
No.
We haven't found enough smoking wells to do it. I believe Jerry did do some lining, just hired it under his maintenance budget. Those would definitely be round numbers and probably could get pushed.
Well, it's not I'm just looking at a report that we're giving to the state, and I don't recall spending the money in 2025 or 2026. So I don't want to be sending a report and that has bad information on it. That's my concern. I'm not worried about I just need to know, did we really spend it, and were we planning on spending it, or is this something we just took from a previous report in 2022 and just kept the number?
I guess those are probably from last year's report, and just didn't get a year added to them, the 25s
Okay,
and 6s and 7s. There hasn't been we haven't had busy sewer or anything in town, so a lot of sewers, I think those are approximate estimates on last year. Just to get a,
all right.
I think,
So everybody's comfortable with putting in these numbers? I mean, I don't want the state
So
to
make-
say, hey, give, they audit us and say, hey, show me the 200,000 you spent in 2025 on your sewer.
these are future planning projects only, these are not past projects. So that's
Well,
why I
but
think
we
it's just a
haven't-
Typo, I think these are just a typo,
Oh, you think the years are off?
yeah,
You should adjust the years.
yeah, I think just the.
Oh, okay, I'm comfortable with that. then.
Okay, so
That's
what
all.
about these 2024 ones?
Right.
Probably just be removed.
Probably-
Pull those and then make number
Yeah.
3,
Seven.
6,
Then we'll start.
7, and 8.
Okay, okay.
This section is
Okay.
just future planning.
okay, yeah, I'm good with that. I just wanna make sure we have an accurate report that we're sending in to the state, cause that would be a red flag to me. Okay. All right, that's all I had on that one, just wanted to. So we'll make changes of that then?
Yep, I can do that tomorrow.
Okay, so when we do the motion to accept the consent agenda, can someone add that to their amendment? I mean, their motion to change the dates. So we don't have to pull this out. All right, do I have a motion for the consent agenda?
Well, you want just how do you want it to be worded?
I would say, to approve the consent agenda with the changes in years to the MSA report. Is that what it is?
CMAR.
Okay, see, whatever.
Compliance maintenance for annual report.
Yeah,
Yep,
that's,
here, right here, Judy, compliance
Okay.
compliance maintenance
I will
annual
make a
report.
motion to accept the consent consent agenda with the changes of the dates for the CMAR report. or
Yeah.
AR.
all right, do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, I have a motion and a second, any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye, all opposed, same, so moved. All right, we're at, report. Of village officers, village president, just a couple things, I just wanna give you guys a heads up. I'm in the brainstorming data collection of looking into two things. One, green golf courses, and two, looking at, since water quality and water issues are important, coming up with some tool that we can bring experts into the process. One of the examples, Middleton for decades has had a water quality subcommittee tied to their plan commission. So just in case you hear things, nothing's final. I'm still just brainstorming, talking to a lot of people. I'll certainly come back with a proposal or something in the future. I just wanted, in case someone hears something, that I'm just looking into it. That's all I have, Vice President.
Well, congratulations, Bobby Zonner, for 10 years on May 16th.
Decade.
I know, I remember when she got hired. And Elizabeth, class in the back for 3 years on June 30th. Congratulations, both of you. That's it.
All right, other trustee reports.
Just real quick, the sustainability met this month and elected Melissa Gavin as the co-chair. That's all I have.
Okay. Thank you. Village administrator.
Just a couple of things. So we hired our Parks and Forestry manager, Sayer Larson. So he started last Monday. And then we also, Sayer Larson.
What they call it, splash.
Nope, that's
Oh.
Stefan.
Oh, okay,
Yep.
okay.
You're a little ahead of yourself.
Okay. I was down there.
Yeah, yeah. And then Stefan Road Humphreys, otherwise known as Splash, started as Public Facilities 2 on the 18th, so last Thursday. So we are now fully staffed with Parks and Rec and Public Facilities. So thank you for your patience throughout this long process, but we're very excited. Fully staffed for Parks and Rec and Public Facilities.
Good
Yeah.
job.
Well, police too. I mean, even
Yeah,
though
yeah.
he's in training,
Yeah.
they hired somebody, so.
Yeah.
We're all good.
Yeah, so things are good. That's all I had.
All right, village department heads or other reports? All righty, going to general business. Discussion and possible action regarding engineering task order for Park Street. Brian?
You need, what you got, before you get to tonight is a task order. Kind of a contract, you have a master services agreement, that governs these task orders. This is just for a specific task, obviously. This would be for the preliminary design for the Park Street project. As it sits, it does say from Water Street to East Street, but also tonight on the next page, you talk about and debate whether or not you want to extend the scope. I don't need that direction tonight. We will need to have a task order executed in order to submit for the Safe Drinking Water Fund funding next week, September or June 30th, when that is due. So I would suggest, if I may, a motion would be just on the task order. And then you can walk you through these numbers separately because it doesn't really impact the task order.
Question on that. If the latter one ends up, let's say you do it, we want this task then to get extended longer?
Yeah, then I would be back in them.
Oh, you just do a separate one. Okay,
We would just amend it.
okay. That sounds good. And quite frankly, I think on here is just the task order on the agenda. I don't know how much we can discuss the other part of it.
I put the task order on because I thought that was what
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
that's
we definitely need.
yeah, so I think that's what we gotta stick to tonight. I don't think we can get into the other one, I think that needs to be placed on the agenda.
I'll make the motion to approve the task order.
All right, do I have a second?
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second, any discussion?
Oh, so you want to wait, because during discussion, we can talk about making it longer, because we could do
I
that.
don't think so, the task, I just asked him that question. The task order that the motion that we're talking about is exactly what's printed, he would have to come back for another, so I don't think. I think we need to keep the focus on that particular part.
I know what it says, but it's okay.
Well, I'm just telling you, that's how I'm reading the law pretty literally, we didn't put on the agenda that we're talking about extending Park Street beyond this, which would include all kinds of talk about money and not only revamping the task, but also spending a lot more money. So I don't have a problem putting it on the agenda. And Brian said, we're fine with that. He just do another one, another task letter. So I'm gonna probably hold pretty tight on this. We'll discuss this item. And we can certainly put the other one on next time, because we're not even talking about the building of Park Street. We're just talking about the task of them doing the diagrams and everything. So I'm gonna keep that as a narrow focus. But we will put that down as a future agenda item.
Mhm.
All right, any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. So moved. All right. Discussion and possible action regarding award of technology package for new Village Hall Police Department.
All right, I will take this one, and then I also have Matt Bickle. Are you on the call?
Yes, I am.
He is, perfect. So this one is regarding the technology in the new building. So a whole host of things, including audio and presentation systems for the community room and community conference rooms, video conferencing and meeting and conference spaces, public meeting microphones, speakers, control systems, audio systems supporting police department operations, training spaces, access control. So that's going to be all of the key cards throughout the space to get, or throughout the building to get into various spaces, and security system components throughout the facility. Also includes needs from our AV racks, cabling, programming, system integration throughout the building, all things technology. So this did go out for bid. And those bids were open on June 19th at 2 o'clock. So that was on Friday. So that's why it took a little bit to get everything here in the packet tonight. And so only 2 bids were received, which was pretty disappointing, honestly. We were hoping for much more than that. And so two were received, and both are here included in the packet this evening for you to review. So I have the bid tabulation form here. So the 2 bids were from Integral Building Systems. So they are in Madison, and then Fearings AVS, also in Madison. And both came in significantly over budget so one at 413,893 and the other at 521,767. I know Matt has been doing some work throughout the day to kind of do some research on what options might be. I don't know, Matt, if you'd like to start chiming in.
Certainly, Carly. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Good. Yeah, so as Carly indicated, we had been hopeful to get a few more bidders. Leading up to the bids, we were in contact with 5 companies in the Madison area, IBS and Fearings being 2 of those. Automations Arts, CTI, and Global Com were the other 3 that we had been, sort of actively marketing the project to drum up interest. In the end, we were able to talk with Automation Arts and CTA today. Automation Arts ended up deciding that they just didn't have the bandwidths internally to take this project on. And so that was why they chose not to bid. And CTI, they specialize in the audiovisual portion, and they would need to bring on a subcontractor to do the security work. And what they said was that they just didn't have somebody at this time to bring on as a subcontractor. So they also decided to decline bidding. GlobalCom was the 5th contractor, and our attempts to reach out to them, we didn't get back from them today. So we do have the 2 bids, Integral Building Systems being the low bidder at 413,893. As Carly indicated, this is significantly more than the amount that was in the budget that was prepared when we opened the bids for the Village Hall Police Station facility. And that's on page 47. Or not 47, sorry. This starts on page 47. I think it's on the last page of this section. There we go. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to just spend a brief moment kind of explaining where that 200,000 came from. So you'll see in the preceding 2 columns, which were design updates throughout the process, we were actually carrying a $40,000 tech allowance. And that was contemplated as a smaller technology package. Some of the more owner provided type items that may come along, with outfitting the building, if you will. And as we got ready to put the construction project that is out to bid, we actually pulled the technology and audiovisual, a significant portion of it, what we just bid, out of the construction bid project. We weren't comfortable that we had all of the input yet from the village and some of your technology consultants at that point. And so we really wanted to separate that out so that we could make sure that we had, a good, solid bid package for that. So if you scroll up, our final estimate at the end of DD, which is the middle column there, we were at 8.2 million. And on bid day, we were at 7.2 million. Knowing that we had pulled a good chunk of the technology and audiovisual out, we estimated at that time that the value of what was left was about $200,000. And unfortunately, that sort of estimate of what we left in and what we left out, we are now realizing that there was a little bit of a disparity. And aside from that, the other piece that is kind of the mea culpa is, as we then finished that process of working with the village and your end users and your technology group or consultant to really put that final bid package together, there was some scope creep. We added some card readers, we added some security cameras, we added in relocation of the existing radio and antenna, which hadn't been contemplated in that budget previously, although it probably could have and should have been. And so with that, I asked my technology group here to tell me, had we, done a new estimate prior to putting this package out to bid, what would you have thought the numbers would have come in at? And they believe that the true, the value of what they would have estimated that would have been somewhere in the $350,000 to $385,000 range. And so we have here, an issue where obviously the budget didn't support the reality of what the needs were in terms of what was included in that package. And so we do feel that the bid from Integral Building Systems, having talked with them, we do feel that it is inclusive of all of the scope that was included. They have also expressed to us their willingness to work with the village to find solutions for value engineering, to try and reduce some costs. They've identified a couple things that they think that they may be able to do a little bit differently, without sacrificing the functionality or the quality, but just sort of simplifying some things. I can't tell you exactly what the total dollar amount of that value engineering exercise may be, but again, they do seem like a willing partner in that exercise. So obviously that's a lot of information to sort of digest. What I will say and sort of open it up for questions and discussions are, there are, again, I see sort of a couple different options here. One would be to, again, accept the bid from Integral Building Systems, and then enter into, a time of, value engineering with them. They understand that the based on the bid laws, the contract would be written around what their bid was, but then there would be a deduct change order to that amount once the agreed upon cost modifications were finalized. A second option would be, obviously this is fresh, as Carly mentioned. We bid this on Friday. We were certainly hopeful that if all things had been completely straightforward, this would have been an easy recommendation to turn around, and have in your packet for Monday. Understanding that there may just be some more time needed to get your your heads around this. Certainly you don't have to take action on this tonight, and we can continue to do some work with IBS and our own internal design team here to see what that potential savings might look like. And a third option would be to take action to reject these bids and plan to go back out with a modified bid package with a reduced scope sometime in the near future. So I will open it up to questions.
Yeah, I guess the first question is, it sounds like there were some companies that were interested in smaller parts of this bid. Do we have the opportunity to break this out and start having other bids that aren't the full package that we did this run?
Certainly, that would be an option if you were to go the route of rejecting these bids and going back out to bid with a modified package. We could certainly break it into a audiovisual specific package and a security specific package. That was the sort of tipping point that we heard from potential bidders. Some of these companies do both, right? Integral Building Systems being one of them. So they may choose to bid on both in that instance. But certainly that's a route that we could go to potentially gain more interest from additional bidders.
Cameron?
I mean, like locally, even, I know there's a lot more companies than those 5 in this space. But I think it's kind of what Jed just said, at least from my job at work, most people don't do both. So that could have scared people. There's the collab people, which would be video, audio. And then there's security people, which would be cameras and action control, usually. So that's probably wise to get a lot more competitive. We'd like to get a more competitive bid. And the other thing I wonder about, and I don't know the answer to this, but because we had the numbers so low, did people just choose not to bid because they knew they were never going to get anywhere near it?
No, they didn't know that.
Oh, they didn't know.
We
No,
wouldn't
they
know the
saw
budget.
the bid just on what is required.
Okay.
All right, I guess I'm somewhat confused on this. Does the current construction company that we have, do they put all the wiring in?
The majority of it, yes. There's some that is excluded, but the majority is put in by the current contractor.
Okay, so what we're really talking about is the hardware, which is basically installing hardware, correct?
Installing and programming. Yep.
I'm just trying to figure out where the big dollar items, a reader can't be more than $300-400 a piece. Right, and then whatever labor is to slap on 2 screws and connect it to the wire that should be through the wall already. Where we've located. Now the AV, on this 400,000, where's most of it going? To the AV side of it or the security side?
I think it's pretty evenly split. But the security side is actually probably more than you anticipate. I mean, there's hard drives and servers, related to the the camera systems. There's intrusion
The only reason
alarm.
I'm saying this is, the low bid was the same company I used at Midtown Police Station. And, it just was, this seems just really high for that. Now, we didn't do the AV, it was just readers and cameras, and the cameras are, and again, are the same cameras that we use inside our squad cars, so maybe the infrastructure's there, but I would think we have the infrastructure here because our squads have cameras. And they're basically the same. We tied it in together so you don't have too many systems. I don't have a problem with going out with different bids on each one. The only thing that you run against is you have 2 different companies and things don't work. They start pointing fingers at each other that unless these things are that clean that they don't share anything. That would be my only concern on going out, you probably would get more bids, I just don't know if the combination, I'm just not. Aware of that, I'm just trying in my head, figure out why it's 400,000 for basically hardware, even if you're talking about buying a server and software. You know, these cameras, they've come way down in price, I don't. Like I say, this really kind of throws me off, I just don't know, now, if they had to do all the wiring, that would be a different story, but. Cause that's labor intensive, but just to take a wire out of the wall, hook it up to a reader, then put 2 screws in, it just seems like a lot of money. Do they have a detailed on what each cost is, or is it just the job?
I didn't see anything from IVS. I do have a bit more from the others, Fearings. They provided more detail kind of with the items,
And
with breaking things down, yeah.
so what is all, besides the 4 cameras that we're gonna have on the corners and then the one inside? So that's 5 cameras, 6 with the interview, 7, so there's like 8 cameras, what other AV is there?
There's like conference equipment, like in each of the conference rooms, so that you can like display, you can like run a meeting, you could hook up to it and run a meeting.
Do we
There's,
really need that in every conference
I mean,
room?
that's something else that we could do is we could, you know, kind of break it down and,
I
you
mean, you
know.
want
Because we
the,
kind of, to be honest, I mean, in those conversations, we're asking for all the things we would like, right? And, you know, there might be an opportunity to break that down a little bit.
So does that mean there's like one of these like mounted on the ceiling or something, so you're gonna need to have it on the wall, or like?
No.
You're saying to project something, or is it?
It's a
It's
camera.
hooked into a big TV screen, or a TV in the conference room, is that what?
Yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
okay.
And then like, yeah, you then like the hookup
Then you have a little-
situation, and then for like the audio, like a microphone in the center of the room, kind of a
So-
thing,
Yeah,
in the conference room areas.
So how many conference rooms are we talking?
I think it's in the 2 off of the lobby. And then the president's conference room. And then there might,
command room.
command room has one. And then I think,
Our interview room probably has a camera and a mic, but it doesn't need a display
Right,
thing.
right.
It just needs the camera and the mic, so you can
Mhm.
record your interview.
mhm.
I think that's what Matt was talking about, is like, we should just go through the bid and say, okay, we can eliminate this TV or this, you know. this-
Yeah, but you'll have to rebid it then. You can't take a bid and then start taking things off.
but this price like includes like them mounting it to the wall. I'm assuming?
The installation,
I mean,
yes.
Like mounting a TV to a wall. you know.
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying.
Maybe like a grapple or something.
Or, I mean, you could postpone this and see what IBS is able to value engineer. You
Yeah,
know,
but
what
then
they're
you
able to
have
come down
accept
with,
it, yeah, cause that's not fair to the other company.
right?
You either accept this and then you hope, just like we did on the road
We
project.
just hope it comes back.
Well, you
Yeah.
know, you have a relationship and you say, look, can we save money here and that, and they do it, but you can't do it. The bid, the other thing is deny them and then revamp this out and see if we can bring it down, and then have the conversation if people think it's better to, split them out.
Mhm.
Can I just make a comment?
Sure,
Yeah, chief is a part of the process too.
Comment I would make is maybe it makes sense to reject this. I mean, it's obviously it's double what we had budgeted. And maybe put together a little bit of a bigger committee. Carly, myself, maybe a member from this that could report back and go room by room and start to cut some things down and then rebid it to make it fair to everybody. Probably splitting it up makes sense, since there is, I did ask some other agencies and there is that hope that one company can do everything, but then there are times where that just doesn't work. And so maybe for us, it's not gonna work, but putting it out in hopes that somebody will, you know, put it together for us. But I just think maybe it might make sense to create a little bit of a bigger committee, not huge, but just maybe somebody from this organization, from us, department heads, just kind of go room by room, like we did for that one day where we met, and it just made sense, right? Because we're gonna look at it from different perspectives. and you're probably gonna cut time, because if we do it, we bring it back, we're gonna keep going back and forth, and in all reality, we're running out of time. That building's going up fast, and so we need to get this done. That's my 2 cents opinion.
Well, and that, not only that, I would also look at, sometimes you can rough things in and then later on, or just like we did with the generators. We're gonna have that roughed in, so when we do get money, it's there, so you're not spending a whole load of money to go through a new building and redo it, so that's another option out there. Cameron?
I would agree with Chief Tony, and I would split it. Generally, it's the same people who do phone system, your Zooms and Teams or whatever you do, and speakers. And then it's a different company that would do access control and cameras usually.
Jed?
I agree splitting. I think it makes the most sense given where we're at and along with his discussion, I mean. My business is audiovisual, he's in security, I think if Chief's willing, the two of us, I'm sure, not volunteering him, but I would volunteer to work on the AV side, and if he wants to do the security side of it.
That's fine, I'm certainly gonna get involved. All right,
So do we need a motion to reject?
I'd make a motion to reject the bids.
I'll second.
all right, I have a motion and a second discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right. All right, we gotta move this though.
Yeah. What is, Matt, do you have like a timeline? Like how fast do we need to turn this back around?
Again, time is of the essence. I think we want to try and get this turned around. Out to bid again, in the next couple weeks so that we can probably target a bid opening, towards the late part of July, early part of August.
Okay.
Let's try to get a meeting going this week. We should be able to hack this out in one meeting.
Probably on vacation.
This whole week.
I'll be out beginning Wednesday. So
Well, then you may have to take over. I mean,
Right.
we gotta move this along.
Chief Tony's been side by side with me throughout the whole process, so if he's gonna lead
All right.
I would feel
As long as
comfortable.
someone's in charge and we can keep the
Yep.
process moving.
But I'm happy to set the meeting up.
Good.
All right.
Cameron?
We also have people in our community like the school administrator for the McFarland School District that talked to him, not that he would do the work, but he has relationships with companies and he could at least advise on, what.
Well, we're at the point now, if he can come to the meeting and he thinks value, invite him, but we're not gonna try to
Yeah.
add another person and takes us 2-3 weeks into the future, so. This needs to be
Yeah.
done this week. And then we can bring it back to the board the first Monday in July.
Carly, will we be having a representative from Bowl that can kind of share the documents that we can go through it?
Yeah. Matt, are we able to get your technology representative?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep, absolutely.
awesome. So I will include him then. Doug, right?
Yes, Doug.
I'll include him on the invite then. Okay,
Include Mike and myself too, Carly.
okay, absolutely.
Did we vote already? I don't even.
Yeah.
We did.
Okay.
Yep.
She's just. Yeah, thank you. All right, discussion and possible action regarding village investment policy revision.
I'll take that one. So the finance committee, started looking at this earlier this year. We met a couple times and just made some, I'd say not super major, changes. One was just updating titles, adding a couple more things, like changing our list of banks for some that no longer existed in that. The reason this was brought up was we have pooled cash, so all of our cash essentially goes into a few main accounts. And then the interest that's earned on those accounts, if they were in the pooled cash, all got recorded to the general fund. And so then there was a question, should that interest be allocated to different funds. So that's one thing that finance committee looked at, and, they decided to, I think it was actually already in our policy that we should have been allocating that. And just never been done in 10 years. So anyway, the way that we wrote it out was that any investment, you can go back right here.
Is this where you want, or do you want the policy? Okay.
Yep. To allocate that investment interest, to the general fund.
It's in the second paragraph.
Yeah.
in the middle.
To allocate out to the various funds, however, the library fund, debt service fund and TID, the interest that would normally be allocated to them would instead go to the general fund. The TID will be closing next year, so that's not really a big deal. Debt service, again, was not really a fund that holds money, or like, you know, there isn't like
Well, it'll hold.
operating, yeah, but I mean, there's not like operating costs or something.
Right, but it'll generate some interest, because you get it at the beginning of the year, then it's spent throughout the year, right?
Right, I'm just saying, like, that's what we came up with, for those three funds, they would not be allocated interest.
Elizabeth, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I'm just curious for the rationale for, taking the interest and not portioning it, to the library fund, since the library fund is held separately for state statute. Curious why do you give this much in general fund? Discussion and reason, what you have to say them.
Well, I think one is, a lot of that is village taxpayers' money in the first place. So it should go back. And secondly, while sewer and water, we give them because they're enterprise business like. Library is a non-governmental. The difference is we charge both sewer and water for village staff time. Working in those, we don't do that for the library. So I think to me, if we want the interest, then we should also then charge like we do the other. If you want to be treated like an enterprise agency, then we should go all the way, where then we charge for administrative work and payroll work and stuff like that. That's where I would be coming from. We don't charge you any of those extra costs that we do the other ones that we're talking about giving their interest to.
We are,
Right, none of the other village departments get it.
no, I know.
I mean, you are part of the general, you're right,
I mean.
that's my whole point, yeah. But if you wanted to be separate from how we treat the other departments, then it would have to go business-like. And then we would be charging for all our costs.
I mean, it is fairly common for library fund interest to be allocated. But like, that's not unusual for that to happen, so I was just curious why we were creating it. It can happen either way, I was curious.
Well, that would be my opinion, go ahead.
What amount of money are we talking about here?
I think the library fund probably has about $200,000 in it, so at a 5% interest rate, $10,000 a year is what's not being allocated back to the library fund, but being allocated to the general fund. I think that's about right.
It sounds like good general.
Yeah,
It's not a huge amount, I'm just
No,
curious.
But I would,
You know,
but again, that 200,000 is basically taxpayers' money from the village, the way the budgeting, and if you look at what in 2025, they had a surplus of $54,000. That's almost a fourth of, what's that?
I was out on leave for a big chunk.
Well, I know that,
Personnel costs.
I know, but isn't it the village that pays your salary? You've said that, okay, that's what I'm saying, so it's village taxpayers' money. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, we're also supported by the county, but so like, I mean, it's taxpayer funds either way. It's fine if this is what we want, I just wanted to have the conversation, I was curious what they're asking. This library fund is helped out.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Go ahead.
You just said 5%. Have you seen that in writing anywhere? Are they getting 4%?
I didn't know, probably in the sweep they're making 4, but I just use it as a general.
Yeah, we're just doing general.
Oh,
Yeah.
So if there's 4%, then it's $8,000.
No, I did, when you
No.
said 5, I thought, oh, did I miss
No,
that?
no, we're not getting five.
Okay.
But yeah, it's okay.
Thank
It was just because it was easy, but
Okay.
no, it's probably 8,000, because it's 200,000.
It's okay, no, I just thought maybe you saw something.
No, this was,
He's like, let me know where you can get
What,
it.
we're gonna be fine. What are we getting at it right now? I haven't seen nothing go out.
380.
yeah, that's what, close to that, in the last finance. So this was a discussion at the finance committee about whether or not the library fund should retain its own interest inside its funds, since the village has allocated that money to them, and do we want them to operate in the autonomous manner that state statute sets them up to operate? Then you could take the argument that that is taxpayer money, but once the money's been surrendered to the library, then can the village actually go back in and get it, or is the library functioning as its autonomous being, and that's the money that is accumulated in its fund? Therefore, it should get the interest that is being generated because the village has said this is yours. Now, if, you know, in the future, should we find that fund to be too large, the village can always decrease its budget, forcing them to use fund balance, but that's not this discussion. This discussion is whether or not we want them to keep the interest that we've said this is the money you get, and therefore you get to keep it all. So there was a deeper discussion at finance concerning that.
And so have we looked at the value of what we're providing, or is that something that the library wants to look into?
I didn't mean value, but
Well, I mean, Jay's saying
Talking
that
about
we provide
fund is like the
services
sewer
for them.
for water.
I would not run the library as an enterprise fund. It doesn't, those are ran as enterprise funds because they're supported by revenue. I mean,
I think legally, I think they're just saying like, should we be charging an administrator?
Right, using the model, they are not an enterprise and they won't, because you're right. That has to have revenue coming in to equal expense. They don't have that because it's paid by the general fund, most of theirs.
okay, but as soon as the village starts charging them, then their budget's gonna go up and they're just gonna request more money from the taxpayers to pay for the administrative costs that the village is now charging them. Yeah, it's a zero-sum game. There's no win.
There may not be a win, but there would be an appreciation of the dollar that the village is providing, which I think sometimes gets lost.
I very much appreciate all that.
No, it's not an appreciate, I'm just saying, there's a lot to running a village and the cost, so. Again, I hear what Michael says, and he's somewhat online with it, but, I'm just gonna leave it at that.
The other day I was on a webinar, I think, was it put on by the league? Probably, I don't remember, and it was about libraries. And one of the things, you know, they talked about was like for the budget, how like the library sets their budget and like asks the village for a certain amount of money. So if they are asking for, you know, they need $300,000, then I just. Right, it's kind of like a. Is it 300,000 plus the interest on 300,000 or just?
Well, that's why I feel while they have some independence, once the money gets there, but it's clear the village is paying, you know, the salaries and
Right.
so I hear what.
I'm on your side, Jake.
Yeah, I know you are. I hear what you're saying. That's exactly right. It gets down into the weeds then.
Yeah, like if this
Yeah.
is their ask, they should get their ask and not their ask
Right.
plus.
Right, exactly. And that should be built in. Like I say, if we end up doing it, it's just gonna be another revenue, which should reduce the amount that they're asking us for.
Yeah, like.
It's all,
this is
it all is
like,
gonna
yeah,
come out in the
yeah.
wash.
Yes,
So it's a matter on how you want the accounting. Do you want it to be a true accounting where you see where all the costs are and where all the revenue comes in? But yeah, and the bottom line, it's all gonna come out the same at the end. So it's how much work and complexity you wanna put into things.
So those are just what was discussed. We knew it wasn't a large amount, but those were just the. I don't think it's gonna make or break anything, to be honest with you.
All right, any other, we updated the banks too, that was.
Yeah, that's, like, this was the main thing that
Yeah.
we talked about, the rest were just kind of clean up.
Yeah, we cleaned it up, like it would say administrator, clerk, treasurer, finance director, we made a lot of finance director things in here, just saying specific things and making things administrator, while finance director, removed a lot of the clerk references.
Cameron,
I was very lost on the delta between where we currently are, and then I see the bullet, like I saw the bullet, but then like it says appendices red line version of the investment policy. I didn't see any red line.
It's not.
yeah, we.
Okay, so,
We-
and then I also got
The
confused
document
because
I put in the packet folder was the red line version.
So when I change it into my PDF, it changes. It takes out the.
That happened to me too.
So-
Yeah, so I was gonna say I'm not.
So am I looking, so what, I guess, trying to prepare for these meetings. You know, I don't know what the hell I'm looking at. You know, I get information today at 11 AM for a topic that's at 6 PM and I work. You know, I know most people here don't work or are retired, but like, it's gotta be.
That's retired.
It's, no, Bill's retired.
Oh, yeah.
And Sarah's on summer vacation. I don't know, this, I'm now getting here and I'm like learning all this stuff for the first time because I saw a document and said investment policy, it was labeled 2014-01. So I thought that was the old one. Then there was a red line version, I didn't see any red line version. And then I saw kind of a bulleted list of changes, but I wasn't 100% sure where the changes were or not. I kind of saw them, I kind of didn't, so I don't know, this is.
Yeah, it just happens with the software, you know?
Does everybody know how we can, how,
So we can do it that way. So if it comes to me in the packet as a Word document, you have to make it into a PDF first before it goes into the packet. Otherwise, absolutely. Otherwise,
I apologize
none
for
of your
that.
changes will be in here.
Well, if you're not comfortable, we can move this to the next, there's nothing critical here that
There's
has
nothing
to.
critical. There's nothing critical here, but I guess this is more of just a comment, like,
Well,
you know, the material that comes in at 11 AM today. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't have even saw it, but Jed called me at 5:30 and I was like, we got an email earlier. I was like, oh, I had no idea, you know, like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the reason why this sort of came up is because our general fund was generating. What was it like?
Yeah,
How much?
in interest, I get it.
It was generating a lot of interest, so if I'm like, how can our general fund on $2 million be generating $500,000 in cash flow? And she was like, oh, well, that's because it's the water and sewer money in there also. So we were taking all that interest from our enterprise and putting it into our general fund. So our general fund,
which you can do,
which we can do, I guess, okay, yes, you can
which
do.
helps with levy limits and
Right.
there's pros.
Exactly.
Well, there
We
are.
weren't doing anything illegal, but I just was like, how is the general fund doing this? And this was happening. So then we started looking at the investment fund, this, and we read it. It actually said you should be allocating interest to the different funds based upon their amounts, which we weren't doing, we weren't following our own policy. And so I questioned that, and now we are, but then in the course of figuring that out, we decided with the library fund, debt service and TID will be allocated to the general fund and not stay inside their own meetings.
Okay, so now you just bring up another question, because if it helps us with the levy limit, should we change the policy so that we have that benefit?
Well,
That's
but here's the counter.
Yeah.
We are gonna get hammered in increase in water rates, cause the PSC requires a 4% return on your dollar. So the interest should be going back there as an investment, you know, to cover that 4%.
And that money can be used for
Yeah.
water improvements, sewer
Yeah.
improvements, keeping rates down, so it's kind of, how do you balance that?
So what pocket do you wanna put it in?
Right, yeah, there's pros and cons.
And I'm fine, I wasn't at the meeting, so I'm trying to gather
Yeah.
what the
No,
reasoning is here.
Yeah, and there hasn't been futuristic based analysis on if we take this from the general fund, what happens future in the budget? Cause like right now in the budget, we're using $45,000 of general fund interest in our current operating budget.
right.
And that's the amount of interest being generated by our general fund is gonna go down because we're gonna start allocating to the different funds.
I make a motion to postpone.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, I have a motion and a second discussion.
I mean, if you guys want to, but is it, what do you want with the?
Well, that was gonna be my question. What do you want?
I mean, I guess it's just, we have all these discussions and I mean.
Well, we won't know, I mean, we won't know the answer of how it affects things. So I don't know when, I mean, we can do it, if it doesn't work, we can switch it back, that's, I mean, this is just allocating interest.
And just to start. A document, so I can see. what-
So what?
Sure, with the
send
red line.
out the red line,
Sure.
document again, and that's where we'll start.
But what were you just saying, Cameron?
Exactly that, just to start, I could see what the changes were between the current policy
Yeah.
and the new policy
Mhm.
that we're proposing.
And I can send that right out after the meeting.
I mean, my main reason for the postponement is we keep going round and round and round about it, and it's like, if it's not that clear, then let's talk about it and bring it back.
Well. I think it's clear,
I-
I think people are making it more complicated than it needs to be.
I'm fine
But
with
anyway.
allocating water and sewer to get their interest that they've generated revenue on. I mean, I'm absolutely fine with letting water and sewer have that.
Well, I mean, if you guys are all fine, then we take the motion on postpone. If it goes down, then you put it back up and there you go.
Start Taking recommendations, I guess the finance. committee
The finance
recommend,
committee
Yeah.
recommend.
But
Yeah. I don't know, I mean, we've already delayed this a couple months, so it's not like it's
it
immediate.
doesn't need to be done, right?
Right, so I say give them the red version, the red line version, you can see that it's not. It's very little changes than what we're doing right now.
And then we'll just put it back on July.
Yeah, that's fine.
Now,
As if, yeah, because finance is the meeting in July, so but if there's nothing we need to talk.
No, we don't need to.
Okay.
we don't, but let me just ask a question. Are you gonna wanna know how interest was being allocated before and how it would be allocated in the future? If this, you know, like we start enforcing our interest allocations, that would be another sheet that's just in there. Previous interest allocation, new interest allocation, water, sewer, and how it would be.
Well, we have stuff we can see, but I can put
But
together,
I mean, like a display. so
Like, once
see,
June.
like how
at the
it,
end of June, I can say, okay, for the 6 months, this is what. How we calculate, how we
This is how-
allocate it,
yeah.
this is how we could do it.
yeah, that's like what I'm meaning, so.
I can do it from.
See that?
So,
Yeah, and you gotta realize,
Because that's really the only other piece that's like
There are-
missing from, I don't want.
it's not all sewer. Sewer has its own account and so does water that's earning interest already.
Part of their money.
Yeah,
not
part of
all
their money. Yeah, right, it's not all, so, but it's not as like, as big as everybody thinks
Yeah,
it's
it's
gonna
not,
be.
yeah.
I mean, we still have to vote on the.
Yeah,
postponement, so-
we're at any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. So moved. All right. Number 4, discussion and possible action regarding the approval renewal of the following license classes for the period of July 1st, 2026 through June 30th of 2027. We'll take them by the letter. Start with A. Do I have a motion?
I motion to approve. The cigarette and tobacco/vapor products retail license, do I need the dates?
No,
Is that-
No, because I already said them.
Okay,
All right, do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, I have a motion and a second, discussion. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, same, so moved. B, class, oh, go
I
ahead.
motion to approve the Class A intoxicating liquor and Class A fermented malt beverages. Licenses, do I need?
Yep, yeah, just say that, that's fine, it's all been covered in the top, but it can't hurt. All right, do I have a second?
Second.
Or give it to Jed.
All right, got a motion and a second, discussion. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, same. All right, C,
I motion to approve the Class B intoxicating liquor and Class B fermented malt beverages licenses.
do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, I have a motion and a second, any discussion? All in favor, say aye. All opposed, same. D,
I motion to approve the Class C wine and Class B fermented malt beverages licenses.
Second.
I have a motion and a second, discussion. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, same. So move. E,
I motion to approve the operators licenses.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, I have a motion and a second, discussion. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, same. So moved, all the licenses have been approved.
Till next,
Until what?
next year.
Yeah, we can at least get them out. Discussion and possible action regarding Trout Days After Action Report.
Well, I hope that was helpful.
Yeah, it's very nicely done.
So overwhelmingly, it was a great event, well received. If anyone was down there, it was packed, the entire day. The only thing we had was we had some people smoking some marijuana, but we ended that pretty quickly, and so we didn't have any issues, no arrests, no citations, people voluntarily complied, and we was done. So other than that, it was a good event and, everything. That report was compiled from multiple stakeholders and, I put the report together by talking with people, getting people's input. So it's a collaborative effort in my writing.
It's good to have that documented.
Next one I'm working on now is the Memorial Day chicken barbecue. You won't have it next meeting because I won't be here. I'll be in Florida. But the next meeting, they'll have it.
And do you want, oh, go ahead, Cameron.
4 hours of police overtime was noted. We kind of have a total for the year where we're at compared to budget.
I don't, but I know that Bobby collects, after every special event, we're required to submit a, like, what did it cost us? I think it's called a cost breakdown sheet. So we provide it, so we're keeping tabs, and I think at the end of the year, I think that would make sense to have it as a part of a report, or just maybe the administrators can provide it for finance.
Yeah.
Follow up on that. So we, for several years, been talking about special events, should we be charging for events? And so it's kind of what we're doing this year is collecting data.
Yep.
On that, so there will be a report coming later this year with all these events and how much time is spent.
I guess less so specific to the special event,
Just
but
open
just,
in general.
well, public safety's been having conversations and, we're, seeing, we get Chief Tony's monthly reports and calls are trending up compared to other years and all that stuff. So I just want to make sure that we're kind of looking holistically at the OT time for police. And then an officer we've hired, he's in training. He won't start until December, January.
Summer's out, field training, so probably March by the time he's.
So that's just another thing to think about between now and then. Possibly more police overtime. Something this group should be an eye on.
Through the end of May, they've spent 38% of their overtime. On par.
The police department?
Oh,
Yeah. We're down guys, so the rest of us are the big one.
So, well, when you say he's in training, is he like at the attic?
Right now, he's in he'll be in the police academy starting in August, so we'll hire him on the 27th. You'll see him for the first time. He'll be sworn in. He has to be sworn in before the academy. We'll have a couple of weeks of onboarding and just kind of the general. He's already attended some of our department meetings just to meet staff. He's been on a few ride-alongs, meeting staff. He's really proactive that way.
Okay.
And then, so he'll be with us for a couple of weeks, just, kind of the onboarding stuff. And then he'll go off to the academy from August to December, middle of December, and then we'll get him, and then, there'll be a 8 to 12 week FTO program, probably closer to 12 week for him since he's very, very new. So, I predict we'll have him good to go by March. And Taylor, I sent Taylor off to field training officer school, so he's certified as an FTO now. So he'll be helping with that training process.
And Depot's field training.
Training's also good.
Alright, thank you.
Right, go ahead, Judy.
I know, it was in there about the traffic, if we're still looking at that. Has anything more been said with, maybe it's too early, about trying to move some of the vendors into the park now?
There wasn't very much talk, but the way the vendors were set up, it was kind of nice. Once the road was shut down, so one of the things that I did talk to Kevin is shutting that down a little faster. There was still people trying to figure this, it was the first year, so people were trying to figure out, flow, how it's gonna work, but once they shut it down, it was great. And it really did work nice to have that road open. You see it that way in a lot of communities, that road kind of where babies can, they're pushing babies and just everybody kind of hanging out and it made it easier. We did have some wheel accessible type of things and they were able to use the sidewalk pretty easily, and so it worked out nicely to have it that way. It's just took a little bit to shut that road down, but I think it was set up. It was the first time people didn't know what to expect, and now I think next year will be a little better.
One other.
Go ahead, Michael.
This is not just a general Trout Days After Action question. Down in that parking lot, there are still 2 porta potties that are down there next to by the gazebo.
Hmm.
Is the village paying for those, or do they just forget to pick them up? Like they're, what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I didn't know they were still there.
Yeah, like on the small lot across from the bowling alley, the
Oh,
2
so-
porta potties are still there from Trout Days.
Cause I think they're having concerts in the.
Right.
That way they were.
Yeah.
I think they had their,
I was
Yeah.
put them there throughout the summer.
Okay.
Yeah, so the plan is to keep them for the special events that are happening at the pavilion this summer, since there aren't any restrooms nearby.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So who's they? Is the village
The
paying? for it?
village, yes.
Okay, okay. Just
Part of the
making
Parks and Rec budget, yeah.
Parks and Rec, okay. Just making sure. I've been asked by a few people, they're like, are those permanent? I'm like, I don't know.
Well, we
Just for
have
the
a
summer.
porta potty in the other park off of Hillenbridge, Hillenbridge.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
We have a porta potty there for the summer months, but only
Yeah.
the summer months, and I think that was kind of us.
Right. Yeah, okay.
Some of that should fix once the building is up, if there's bathrooms.
I just was checking. I'd been asked a few times, and I'm like, I don't know.
I didn't even notice them.
Yeah.
All right, do we need action on this or is more of
It
an
was just-
information?
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. All right, last one is the honeybee license. The main reason I want to pull it out is 2 of the letters that we received talked about how it's against the neighborhood association rules to have bees, and they wanted us to enforce that. I just want to make it very clear, we do not get involved at all in neighborhood rules. That is something that the neighborhood has to deal with. So I know there's a lot of new faces. About 15 years ago, we used to always get complaints on that. People wanting us to enforce the color of people's roofs and clotheslines and stuff, so we don't, so we just, that's why I pulled it, just to make sure people understand that.
It's similar to the chickens that we just talked about, the covenants for March Stone.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
They are not gonna allow chickens, but you are allowed to have them if you live somewhere else in the village.
Right.
So,
Right. So, I just wanted to make sure everybody was aware of that. So, any other discussion on that, or can I have a motion?
I'll make the motion to approve the honeybee license application for 3014 Shady Circle.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. All opposed, same. All right. We have the one future agenda item. Anything else?
Or,
We
yeah,
both want to do things tonight. We both want to?
No, one was a postponement, the other one was to expand.
Oh, yeah, Joe.
Sustainability committee would like the village board to look at adopting a goal of 80% of all the village's operational electricity needs with renewable energy by 2035.
Well, they need to put a report together and how they see us achieving that before. We're not gonna have that discussion on how to achieve that. If that's a goal, we can certainly have that, but I think it's important that they put a report together and give us a pathway to how to get there. Cause that's what your committee is supposed to do. We don't know how to do that. So I think it's a great thing, but that's what I would suggest, that before we put it on the agenda, that there's a report or a proposal, whatever way, whatever tool you wanna use or avenue.
They had some kind of plan that we had
We do,
voted on.
yeah, we do. We have a sustainability plan, and that is one of the goals. We're one close to that. But to achieve those goals, you still have to have a proposal. I don't want the board to discuss how many solar panels we have to put up and, you know, how many electric vehicles we need and how much it's gonna cost to have charging stations. I mean, that's their work. Our work is, once they have that, we go through it and decide if it's a good plan. Anything else? So that just needs to be referred back, and then when you get something, then we can move it forward. All right, do I have a motion for adjournment?
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All right, I got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, same. All right, very good.